My dear friends, there's a beautiful line I once heard. If you can't change your life in a day, change the day in your life. And the truth is, every day gives us a tiny window, a small opportunity to redesign our destiny. We keep waiting for big changes, a miracle, a breakthrough, a sudden transformation. But life doesn't change because of one giant decision. It changes because of small decisions repeated daily. Today I want to share with you 5 daily habits, not difficult, not complicated, not expensive, but extremely powerful. If you practice them sincerely, they will completely transform your life. Life has a very gentle way of teaching us lessons, sometimes through joy, sometimes through challenges, and sometimes through silence. When we look around, we notice something interesting. Everyone wants a better life, but very few are willing to change the tiny habits that actually shape life. We think transformation requires big sacrifices or life-changing events, but the truth is far simpler. Real growth happens in the small things we do repeatedly. Just like a river doesn't carve a rock in one strike, but through continuous gentle flowing, our daily habits carve the quality of our future. Every morning gives us a new chance. A chance to begin again, to reset, to refocus. That first moment after waking up is sacred because it decides the energy of the entire day. When we start our day with quietness, even for a few minutes, we create space for peace to enter. In silence, worries lose their power and clarity begins to rise. The world may pull us in 100 directions, but silence pulls us back to ourselves. And when you begin your day anchored in calmness, you carry that calmness into everything that follows. Your decisions, your conversations, your challenges. Another habit that changes life deeply is gratitude. It's amazing how the mind works. If we don't train it, it naturally focuses on what is missing. You might have 10 blessings, but your mind will chase after the one thing that didn't happen. Gratitude doesn't magically solve your problems, but it gives you the strength and perspective to face them with maturity. When we appreciate what we already have, our heart becomes lighter, and a light heart can handle heavy things. Gratitude turns ordinary moments into gifts, and difficult moments into teachers. What we feed our mind is just as important as what we feed our body. Many people invest in clothes, shoes, haircuts, but rarely invest in their thoughts. A healthy mind needs nourishment, a small dose of inspiration daily, whether through books, wisdom, or meaningful conversations, can shift your entire mindset. When your thoughts rise, your actions rise. When your actions rise, your life rises. Kindness is another powerful habit. We underestimate its impact. Sometimes a gentle smile, a thoughtful message, a small gesture can make someone's day, and yours. When we give kindness, something inside us softens. Stress loosens its grip, and the heart feels more open. Giving is not about having a lot. Giving is about having the heart to share even a little. And finally, reflection. At the end of the day, pause for a moment and ask yourself what the day taught you. Every day carries a message, but only those who reflect receive it. Reflection turns experiences into wisdom and mistakes into lessons. Without reflection, days pass. With reflection, days transform. When these small habits combine, they create a powerful shift. Nothing dramatic, nothing loud, just simple, consistent, meaningful changes. And over time, those tiny changes shape a life filled with clarity, gratitude, purpose, and peace. Sometimes in life, we keep waiting for the perfect moment to change. Some magical day when everything aligns, when motivation suddenly appears, when the world finally becomes kind to us. But life doesn't work like that. Change rarely arrives with loud announcements. It comes quietly, through simple choices repeated every day. When we understand this, we stop looking for shortcuts and start focusing on consistency. The smallest steps taken daily with sincerity become the biggest turning points of our lives. Each day is like a blank page handed to us. What we write on that page is entirely our choice. Some people fill it with worries, complaints, and regrets. But there is another way to live, by filling our days with awareness, purpose, and gratitude. Even a small shift in how we begin our day can influence everything that follows. If we wake up rushing, worrying, and reacting, the day feels heavy. But when we wake up with a moment of stillness, we create a foundation of calmness that carries us through challenges. A mind that starts peacefully responds wisely. Gratitude is another powerful practice that transforms life. It's easy to overlook our blessings because we are so focused on what we haven't achieved yet. But when we take a moment to appreciate what already exists, the heart softens. Suddenly, the same life that felt stressful begins to feel meaningful. Problems don't disappear, but our perspective changes. Gratitude opens the doorway to inner stability, and when the heart is stable, life becomes easier to navigate. The mind is like a garden. If we don't plant the right seeds, weeds will grow automatically. Negative thoughts, doubts, fears, these arise by themselves, so it becomes important to consciously feed the mind something uplifting every day. A good message, a thoughtful quote, a wise story. These nourish our thoughts the same way food nourishes the body. A nourished mind thinks clearly, acts responsibly, and handles difficulties with patience. When we feed the mind positivity, our life begins to reflect that positivity. There is also something very beautiful about practicing kindness daily. It doesn't have to be grand. Sometimes just listening to someone, offering a helping hand, or sharing a few encouraging words creates a ripple effect. Kindness enriches not only the receiver, but also the giver. It reminds us that we are connected, that our actions matter, and that a small act can brighten someone else's entire day. More importantly, kindness keeps our own heart gentle and grounded. At night, before closing our eyes, reflection helps us end the day with awareness. Instead of simply letting the day pass, we pause and observe what went well, what can be improved, what did life try to teach today. Reflection is like polishing a mirror. It helps us see ourselves clearly. And with clarity comes growth. When we combine silence, gratitude, positivity, kindness, and reflection, something extraordinary happens. Life becomes more meaningful, more peaceful, and more aligned with who we truly want to be. It is these small, consistent habits that slowly but surely transform our life from the inside out. Life often teaches us that real happiness doesn't come from achieving everything we desire, but from learning how to live meaningfully with what we already have. We keep searching for something outside, success, appreciation, recognition, thinking that once we get it, life will finally feel complete. But the truth is, peace begins within. The way we shape our inner world reflects directly in the world around us. And this shaping happens through the habits we practice every single day. Small habits, repeated with sincerity, create inner strength that no challenge can break. Every morning presents a fresh chance to start again. It doesn't matter how yesterday went or what mistakes you made. A new day is like a gentle reminder from life saying, try again, but with more awareness. When we begin our day with quietness, even for a few minutes, something magical happens. The noise inside settles, the worries lose intensity, the heart resets. That moment of silence is like tuning a musical instrument before playing it. If the mind is tuned well, the entire day plays out in harmony. One of the most beautiful habits we can cultivate is acknowledging the good in our life before focusing on what is missing. Gratitude doesn't require something extraordinary, it simply requires attention. The breath you take, the people you love, the opportunities you have. These are blessings that often go unnoticed. When you pause to appreciate them, your heart develops resilience. Gratitude strengthens you from within. It teaches you that even when life is not perfect, it is still precious. Feeding the mind consciously is another transformative practice. The world around us constantly throws information, comparisons, distractions, and pressures at us. If we are not mindful, these things slowly drain our energy and confidence. But when we choose even a few minutes of positive input daily, something wise, something encouraging, something that lifts us, our mind becomes sharper, calmer, and more focused. A well-fed mind doesn't get shaken easily. It knows how to respond instead of react. Acts of kindness add a sweetness to life that nothing else can. There is a unique joy in making someone smile, in helping without expecting anything, in being compassionate even when no one is watching. Such small acts create a chain of positivity. You might forget the kindness you did, but the person receiving it never does. Kindness creates connections. It softens the rough edges of daily life. And most importantly, it reminds us of our own humanity. Before the day ends, reflection brings everything together. Instead of letting the day slip into tomorrow, take a moment to look back. Not to judge yourself, but to understand yourself. Every experience, good or bad, has something to teach. Reflection helps us collect those lessons, so we don't repeat mistakes blindly. It helps us grow consciously, day by day. When these practices become part of daily life, something incredible unfolds. You begin to feel lighter, clearer, more grounded. Challenges still come, but you handle them with a stronger heart. Life becomes less about rushing and more about living. And slowly, without even realizing it, you transform, not through big leaps, but through small, consistent, meaningful steps that reshape your life from within. There are moments in life when we feel stuck, not because nothing is happening around us, but because nothing is happening within us. We expect life to change on its own, but inner transformation requires conscious effort. Just like a plant grows with sunlight, water, and care, our character grows with the habits we choose every day. These habits are not grand or dramatic. They are simple, gentle practices that slowly shape the way we think, feel, and respond. When we change what we do daily, we naturally change who we become eventually. Every morning is like a silent invitation. It doesn't speak loudly, but it whispers, "Begin again." When we open our eyes before the world demands our attention, we have a small window to create peace. Spending a moment in silence is not about escaping the world. It is about preparing ourselves to handle it. That silence acts like a deep breath for the soul. It steadies the mind, slows the rush of thoughts, and brings a sense of balance. When the day begins with calmness, the rest of the day flows with more clarity and less chaos. Gratitude adds another layer of stability to life. We spend so much time worrying about what we don't have that we overlook what we already possess. Gratitude doesn't require special moments, it simply requires awareness. When we pause to thank life for even the smallest blessings, a supportive friend, a warm meal, a peaceful moment, we shift our inner state. Problems may remain, but the heart becomes stronger. Gratitude teaches us that life doesn't have to be perfect to be beautiful. In fact, it becomes beautiful the moment we start appreciating it. What we feed our mind daily becomes the foundation of our thoughts. A mind filled with negativity sees obstacles everywhere. A mind filled with positivity sees opportunities even in challenges. Just a few minutes of uplifting content, a meaningful story, or a thoughtful message can elevate our mindset. It's like lighting a small lamp in a dark room. The darkness doesn't disappear instantly, but the direction becomes clear. A nourished mind makes better choices, handles pressure with maturity, and stays focused when distractions try to pull it away. Kindness is a habit that enriches life in ways we rarely expect. You never know what someone is going through. A small gesture, a supportive word, or even a warm smile can make a big difference. Giving kindness is not about grand gestures. It's about being thoughtful in everyday moments. When we do good for others, something shifts inside us. Compassion replaces irritation, understanding replaces judgment, and connection replaces loneliness. Kindness doesn't only touch the lives of others, it refreshes our own heart. Before the day ends, reflection helps us complete the circle. Looking back at the day is not about guilt or regret, it's about learning. What did today teach me? What can I improve tomorrow? What made me smile? What made me think? Reflection helps us gather wisdom from our experiences, so each day becomes a stepping stone toward growth. When we practice these habits daily, life transforms quietly but powerfully. The world outside may remain the same, but the world within becomes stronger, calmer, and more peaceful. And when the inner world changes, the outer world begins to reflect that change naturally. Life often feels like a long journey where we keep chasing something: success, stability, happiness, validation, believing that once we reach that point, everything will fall into place. But as we grow, we realize that life is not transformed by achieving one big milestone. It is shaped by the tiny decisions we make every single day. Just like a sculptor creates a masterpiece through countless small strokes, our habits carve our destiny one quiet moment at a time. These small acts might seem insignificant, but over months and years, they form the foundation of who we become. Every day begins with a fresh start, and how we spend the first few minutes sets the tone for everything that follows. When we begin the morning with calmness instead of chaos, clarity instead of confusion, awareness instead of anxiety, the entire day feels different. Silence has a unique power. It resets the mind. It helps us breathe deeply, think clearly, and reconnect with ourselves. When we carry inner peace into the day, we respond with wisdom instead of reacting with frustration. That small pause in the morning can prevent countless unnecessary storms throughout the day. Gratitude enriches the heart in a way nothing else can. It shifts our focus from what is missing to what is present, from why me to thank you. The circumstances of life may not change immediately, but our experience of life changes instantly. When the heart learns to appreciate the little joys, challenges stop feeling like burdens. Gratitude doesn't erase difficulties, but it strengthens us to face them. It reminds us that even on the toughest days, life still gives us something to hold on to. A grateful person doesn't have a perfect life, they have a peaceful mind. Just as the body needs healthy food, the mind needs healthy thoughts. Whatever we consume, conversations, content, ideas, shapes our inner environment. If we constantly feed the mind negativity, fear, and comparison, we naturally become restless. But when we consciously choose uplifting words, inspiring messages, or meaningful learning, the mind becomes sharper and steadier. We begin to see opportunities where earlier we saw obstacles. A nourished mind becomes a guiding light, especially on the days when everything feels overwhelming. Kindness is like a gentle fragrance. It spreads quietly but leaves a lasting impact. We underestimate how much good a small act can do. Holding a door for someone, speaking kindly, offering help, or simply listening with patience. These are not grand gestures, but they create a ripple effect of positivity. Kindness softens the heart, dissolves ego, and reminds us that we are all traveling through life with our own struggles. When we make someone's day a little easier, life somehow makes our own heart a little lighter. Before the day ends, reflection helps us grow with awareness. It allows us to pause and learn from our experiences. Every day has something to teach, but only those who reflect receive the lessons. Reflection helps us avoid repeating mistakes, appreciate our progress, and set clear intentions for tomorrow. It turns each day into a meaningful chapter in the book of life. When these habits become part of our daily routine, life begins to transform from within. Not suddenly, not dramatically, but gently, like a dawn that slowly brightens the sky. And one day, we look back and realize that these small, consistent practices have created a life filled with purpose, clarity, and inner peace. My friends, life does not change when we wish for it. Life changes when we work for it, patiently, consistently, and peacefully. These 5 habits may look small, but mountains are moved by tiny drops of water falling consistently. Start today, start small, start sincerely, and one day you'll look back and realize nothing changed instantly, but everything changed eventually. Thank you so much. Stay blessed, stay happy, and keep growing every single day.